So, the Chargers pulled off a solid win, and here's the kicker. They didn't just walk away with a W, they got hit with some really good news too. And let's be honest, when's the last time you saw a Chargers game that felt, well, easy? I mean, in a league where every win is a grind, they actually made it look kind of smooth this time. But it's not just about the scoreboard, it's about what this win represents. They've been fighting to get some real momentum going, and now they've got it. Plus, the post-game updates? Let's just say they're about to give this team even more of an edge as we head deeper into the season. This win didn't just keep them in the game, it's setting them up for what could be a pretty exciting stretch ahead. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. Alright, so let's talk about that easy win. Now, I know. There's no such thing as an easy win in this league, but for once the Chargers didn't have to claw their way to the finish line. They took control, handled the Titans the way they should, and never really looked back. And that's exactly the kind of game they needed. Look, we've all seen how tough it is to string together solid performances, especially with a new coaching staff and a lot of moving parts. But this game felt different. It felt like they're finally starting to gel. The Chargers aren't just squeaking by anymore, they're handling teams the way a real contender would. Sure, the Titans aren't exactly top tier right now, but winning like this? It's a big deal. And if they can keep playing like this, playing smart, playing efficient, who knows where this could go? For now, this win is a step in the right direction, and it shows that they're starting to find their rhythm at just the right time. Gus Edwards came back like he had something to prove, and he didn't disappoint. 10 carries, 55 yards, that's 5.5 yards a pop. For a guy coming off an injury, that's serious production. He looked fast, sharp, and like he was ready to make up for lost time. And here's the best part. With Gus and J.K. Dobbins together, the Chargers have a real 1-2 punch in the backfield. Defenses are going to have their hands full because if they load up to stop one back, the other's primed to take advantage. This isn't just a nice to have. It could be the edge that turns close games in their favor down the stretch. With two fresh, dynamic backs heading into the last half of the season, they're in a position that most teams would envy. Gus running like this? It's a huge win for the Chargers and something that'll keep opponents guessing as they prep for the playoffs. Alright, here's where things start getting interesting. With a 6-3 record, the Chargers have put themselves in a position where the playoffs aren't just a dream, they're a real possibility. For a team in year one with a new coach and GM, this kind of start is impressive, and it says a lot about the direction they're headed. Now, being 6 wins in, they're no longer just figuring things out. They're playing for something bigger, and that's the kind of mindset shift that can really spark a team. They're not just trying to stay in the mix, they're pushing to make a real run. The playoffs are within reach, and with each win, that confidence just grows. But here's the thing, they know they'll need consistency and depth to go the distance. Every game from here on out matters, and each win adds fuel to that playoff push. If they can keep up this pace, we might just see them making some serious noise when it counts the most. Now, let's talk defense. Khalil Mack went out there battling an injury, barely on the field in the first half, but when he did show up, he made it count. And even with him playing limited snaps, the defense stepped up big time, racking up 7 sacks. Think about that. 7 sacks with Mack hardly out there and Joey Bosa on a pitch count. This defense is proving that they're no fluke. Doesn't matter who they're up against or who's injured, they're still out there delivering. It's the kind of reliability you don't see often, and for a team looking to make a push, that's huge. A defense that can shut down opponents like this is exactly what you need when you're aiming to stay competitive in December and January. The depth and resilience of this squad? It's making a statement. Opponents can't come in expecting an easy game against this front line, and as long as they keep this up, the Chargers are going to be a tough team to crack. Justin Herbert looked dialed in. He's starting to shake off those early season issues, and you can see it in his play. He was avoiding those risky plays, staying calm under pressure, and really showing flashes of that elite potential. There was even a moment when it looked like a fumble was about to flip the game, but Herbert kept his composure and his arm was going forward, no turnover. That's growth. Right now, Herbert's play is giving the Chargers exactly what they need. He's not just trying to make big plays, he's making smart ones. This is the kind of quarterback play that can carry a team through the grind of the season and into bigger opportunities. If he keeps trending upward like this, he's only going to make this team more dangerous. Herbert playing at this level? It's a huge plus and exactly what they need as they head into some tougher matchups. Now, let's take a look at what's coming up, because the Chargers are in a real mixed bag of a stretch. They've got some winnable games on the horizon, but there's a tough lineup sprinkled in that's going to test just how solid this team really is. Next up is Cincinnati, a team that's hard to pin down. Some weeks, they look unstoppable. Other weeks, they're completely off. Then it's Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City. That's a brutal stretch. And the Chargers don't have to win all of them, but they can't afford a losing streak here either. These next few games are going to show if they're the real deal or just another team with a decent start. After that, they've got Tampa, Denver, New England, and Vegas, so they're not out of the woods even if they handle business in the tough games. Bottom line, this upcoming stretch is a make-or-break moment. They've shown they can handle weaker teams, but now it's time to see if they've got the grit to beat tougher competition and hold their ground. When you look around the league, it's pretty clear the Chargers are standing out, especially when you stack them up against some of the struggling teams out there. Just take a look at teams like the Dolphins, Patriots, and Raiders. They've had a rough go with more losses piling up than wins. While those teams are searching for answers, the Chargers are finding ways to win and stay competitive. In a season where we're seeing a lot of teams struggle, the Chargers are playing smart, disciplined football. They're not making the kinds of mistakes that have tanked other teams' seasons. And that's a big reason they're sitting at 6 wins while other teams with similar talent can't seem to get it together. It's this kind of focus and consistency that separates good teams from mediocre ones. If they can keep playing at this level, they'll be in a position that a lot of other teams can only wish for right now. It's starting to look like the Chargers could have a real shot at taking control here. The Chiefs have been dominant, sure, but they're showing cracks, and the door is opening a little wider. This isn't the same Chiefs team steamrolling opponents every week. They've looked vulnerable, and that's something the Chargers could capitalize on. And with the Lions out there in the NFC setting the bar by crushing teams week after week, there's a growing sense that it's possible to take down the big dogs if you play your cards right. The Chargers have shown they can hang in there against tough competition, and if they keep up this level of play, they might just surprise some people down the stretch. It's a wide-open race, and for the first time in a while, the Chargers don't feel like an outsider. They feel like a team that could make a serious run if they keep things steady. There's a lot of season left, and anything can happen. But there's reason to believe. With everything we've covered, you can't help but feel a buzz around this team. The Chargers have been battling, adjusting, and proving they belong in the conversation. But, of course, we know how quickly things can change in this league, and there are still plenty of questions left unanswered. Are they ready to go toe-to-toe with the league's toughest teams? Can they keep up this momentum when the stakes get even higher? Now, this is where you come in. What do you think? Can this team take it to the next level and maybe even challenge the top teams when it matters most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's hear what you think about this team's potential, what's working, and what needs to improve. It's going to be a wild ride, and we're just getting started.